We are back for another fun-filled episode of the Wonderful World of Randy right here on the Main Street Randyland channel, where you're going to see all that great stuff that everybody loves. It's your history, my history. It's Americana for everybody. Now, I ask you all the time, got to be serious now, have you subscribed to the Main Street Randyland channel? Have you pressed the subscribe button? It's very important. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us because YouTube then recognizes that people are watching our videos and people like them and we can make more of them. So please, press the subscribe button. Do it for yourself. And me too. Thank you. So, now that you've had your little subscribe pep talk, we're over here at the Retro Arcade and Fascination on the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey. We're at 2900 Boardwalk, which is Magnolia Avenue. This is a special arcade. It's not the arcade of typical found on the boardwalk. This is called Tributes and Traditions because it is a tribute to all the things that once were on the boardwalk, specifically here in Wildwood, and the traditions that people had coming here all the time and creating memories that are lifetime lasting, and it's magic because people come through this arcade maybe expecting to play a game, maybe expecting just to walk through and waste some time, and they stumble across something that triggers their memory magically because they went on a ride and they saw something. It was in the back of their memory and they thought they'd never see it again, never paid it attention, but lo and behold, they stumbled across it right here. And that's what we do. We don't just have the games that take in a couple quarters, which we survive on. We provide those extra things for people to come and see. And there's no admission here. We rely upon people appreciating what we do and showing their appreciation through their blessing of patronage. We also have donation boxes. If people don't have time to play games and they like what we do, they can support us by dropping a contribution in the donation box. And one of the reasons you're going to see right now, people walk around the games and just by chance they stumble across these two fellas right here. Now they might be a little scary to you, but people recognize where they're from. These are the Devils that sat on the top Crow's Nest Tower in the center of the Hell Hole on Sportland Pier, right here on the boardwalk in Wildwood, New Jersey. They thrilled people for many, many years. Now, they've seen a few lumps and bruises across their years. Devils typically can lose their fingers from touching things that are too hot. But as you're seeing right there, the nails in his hand. Now, that's not symbolic to be like the counter Antichrist from Jesus being nailed on the cross. If you look at his hand, the way the fingers are curved, he was kneeling on his hands and knees looking down at you. He was high above you, he was kneeling down, and those nails were keeping him in place. Today, I'm sure they would use a better fastening system, but back then, a few 8-penny nails, 10-penny nails did wonders. There was one on each side of the crow's nest, and they were looking down. Well, what were they looking down at? They were looking down at you if you rode on the Hell Hole. Now, what was the Hell Hole? I could use the term a rotor. What it is it's a big barrel that people go in and they stand along the side walls of the barrel. And the barrel starts spinning and starts spinning faster and faster. The centrifugal force of the barrel spinning pins people to the wall. So you're stuck on the wall. Then the floor drops. So there's no floor below your feet. So here you are, spinning round and round and round. And in the center, there's a mast with a crow's nest as these two devils are looking down at you and enjoying your thrill on the Hell Hole. People ask me, do they have names? I gave them names. I'm sure they have names, but this is Odin and this is Wotan. Now, people might say, why did you select the names Odin and Wotan? Well, you have to remember, I am an arcade guy. I run amusement games. And of course, I have the Fireball pinball and the Fireball 2, and the 2 bonus holes for captive balls are Odin and Wotan, because those are demons that are being portrayed on the pinball machine. So we have Odin and Wotan. Now you can tell the difference because Wotan is a little more devilish. He has his 666 painted on the top of his head and on his forehead. So Wotan is, you know, really out there. He's a little devilish. Whereas Odin, he can have a conversation with you and not do anything to you until later. That's the way he is. Now, unfortunately, they've had a little wear. They lost their horn or broke up his points because people were in and they lost some fingers. All of this is repairable. However, I feel it's important to keep things as original as possible. If I refabricate some fingers, fix the horns, I'd have to repaint them. If I repaint them, that original park paint, it's no longer the same. People walk by and you can't miss them. They're watching you. And you know what? It triggers that memory. The memory of when they were young, standing in there. This ride has gone 30 years, but they rode it and they remember looking up and there were those devils. Sure enough, here they are, big as life. I personally never went on that ride. Why? Because I didn't want to be pinned to a wall. I had heard stories where people would get sick on that ride. Most times they would get off the ride, be dizzy, and they'd vomit on the floor. Well, as bad as that is, sometimes people vomited on the ride. And with the ride spinning around, they'd vomit, and guess what? It would land on the guy next to you because you're spinning around, so the next guy gets puke all over you. What a pleasant experience. There's nothing like going to the boardwalk, spending the day going on rides, and having somebody puke on you. This is a very traumatic experience. I'm sure Odin and Wotan were laughing themselves silly. But I wasn't going to place myself in that position. Interestingly, they had an observation deck. You didn't have to go on the ride. Above the barrel, you had a catwalk where you could stand there and just watch the people go down. And many people did that, and there are pictures and images on people's home movies of watching down into the hellhole, and you'll see Odin and Wotan standing there. So they're from the hellhole, another memory right here that you can find that's been preserved for memory's sake. So thanks for joining us. It's the Main Street Randyland YouTube channel. Tell your friends, make them watch, make them subscribe. They'll thank you later. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye. Bye, Odin. Bye, Wotan.